Alright, so this video is going to be for anyone who lives in the, say, south of North Carolina. If you're somewhere where you have a small hill above the water line, way above the water line, there's a couple of my dogs. You can see down here the greenhouse. If you look over the neighbor's fence, you can see the bottom of the lake down there. That level is about 20 feet from that lake to the bottom of that outhouse. Now, the outhouse is there for cover, obviously, but you know, this is a pretty unassuming shelter. It's a storm shelter, but appearances are quite deceiving here. If you look at the hill, you can see that there's a very good slope on that hill. 7 feet below the bottom of that door on that outhouse, a little over 7, about 7.5 feet down, is the bottom or the floor of the shelter. So let's go have a look. Sorry about the camera movement. Now you can see I've got the front side sloping down. I've got the sides backfilled, and the corner right there is actually the center of the shelter underneath that. If you look up the hill, you've got more slope. So we're about 6 feet, 7 feet from the top of the hill up here, and we're 7 feet below that, which is about 14 feet, and that's still about 6 feet above flood level. Now here you can see my hatch on the top. The hatch just drops down, and you've got a full floor that you can walk on, and then you can shut this door, latch it from the inside, and what you got here is a small space with airflow through between the boards. Then you pull your hatch down below. You can see we've got our shelter. So I'm going to go down in the shelter now. Alright, so now we're down in the shelter. This is a cheap shelter. It was put up over a weekend. You can see how I've got braces run from the ceiling to the wall, and all four sides. It's 7 foot tall on the inside. You'll see a track right here along the framing. Now that track is there so that this door, which you see here, can slide. I know it's hard to see in the video, but that's because I'm standing right under it. So now you can see the track. And this handle, which you can barely see because it's all black, allows the movement of that hatch. So what you've got there is a hatch on the outside. When you get inside, you pull that hatch down, it'll latch right there. The latch isn't there yet, but that's where it goes. And then you slide this door forward, and it creates a double seal, which is not an airtight seal, but it's wind proof. You know, and it's, if the upper part gets ripped off, then the door on top might be there, it might not be, because it's attached to the roof. But this door definitely will be. And if there's any suction on that, it'll actually pull this sliding door up tighter against the floor joists there. So what you got down here is just a basic seating arrangement. Now that seating arrangement's done with 2x4s underneath, so that it's actually one big bench. They're all nailed together with 2x4s along the side walls. And what that does is it allows for better support for your wall. Now, as you can see, I've got landscape timbers, and I've got some facing, you know, long width against the wall and some laying flat against the wall. I put them in different stages, so I added in between when I was done putting the wall up. It's easier to keep things straight. That was going to be a doorway right there, which is why it looks a little different, but I may add a couple posts in there later. I'm not sure. It seems to be okay right now. So the outside of this, obviously it's put together with plywood, but the outside of it is covered first with, well, after the plywood's put in, before the dirt is backfilled, there's tar paper, 30-pound weight, and it's overlapped about a foot. So you got about a foot where it's double and a foot where it's single layer all the way up to the roof. Then the roof is done with double plywood. The OSB that's in here is just for the cover, but on top of that is some 3/4 inch 5-ply, and they're crossed. So I got these running, let's say north-south, and then I've got the ones on top running east-west. So it's an overlapping joint, and then there's metal screwed to the top of that with the tar paper felt laid below the metal, between the plywood and the metal, and that overlapping the sides and down. So basically it's a tar paper plywood construction, and it can always be beefed up from the inside. So I got a post here supporting the weight underneath the corner of the building that's on top of it. So, you know, you got dirt weight all the way around the back side and this side. And then over here outside the door, it's pretty much level with the top of the wall there. So there's less pressure in this corner than there is in this corner and this corner. But you know, this is a temporary shelter, not meant to hold up for, you know, long periods of time, but for hurricanes or tornadoes or anything like that, you've got a place that you can get out of and get into quickly. And the temperature down there is 80 degrees. The temperature up here is 100. So that's what you have to deal with in Florida and in the South in the summer. So when you're getting these storms, you need a place to go. Most houses don't have a basement. Matter of fact, I've never seen a basement in Florida. So those of you living in Missouri understand the usefulness of that basement. And me being from Missouri, I understand it too. So good thing to have that kind of security down in the South areas too. This is one way you can do it.